You may have asked yourself, am I masturbating too much? When we learn more about our bodies and begin to question what is and isn't normal for our physical and mental characteristics, everyone is unique, so it's a good idea to ask this question. But occasionally, it's beneficial to stop and give it some serious thought when you realize that your habits may be a touch excessive. Nevertheless, if you do find yourself relating to these points, know that you have nothing to be ashamed of, because this is a topic that is significant enough to be discussed with a qualified professional. If you're worried about your habit and you'd like to learn more about it, you're in the right place. So let's get started. When is it excessive? Numerous factors affect your sex drive, such as how well you sleep, how much you exercise, and of course, your hormones. Sometimes it feels like your hormones are working against you. Perhaps you don't want to think about sex all the time, but your hormones just won't stop. And there's no way to combat them. Your emotions and behavior can be significantly impacted by the balance of your hormones, which are chemicals. Trying to influence your hormones would involve medication, which, as a teenager, could stunt your development. But your hormones making you want to masturbate isn't a bad thing, it's natural, and according to a study published in Archives of Sexual Behavior, early masturbation experience won't damage your development and adjustment into adulthood. You might already know on an instinctual level if you're masturbating too much. If you're doing it multiple times a day repeatedly, to the point that it feels like your body can't keep up, you're probably doing it too much. If it's disrupting your life, and you find yourself planning your day around when you can masturbate, you're definitely doing it too much. It affects your baseline happiness. During COVID-19, researchers looked into how it affected people's habits. Interestingly, they found that sexual desire and arousal were no longer the only or even the main motivators for masturbation. Both men and women would masturbate as a relief from anxiety, depression, and boredom. However, the problem is that when you are isolated and rely on a particular behavior or substance to feel better, you run the risk of developing an addiction. This is especially true if you experience boredom or anxiety after masturbating. Over time, you may find yourself feeling distracted or frustrated as you continuously look for a time and location to masturbate. Once you begin to rely on masturbation to feel happy or at least normal, your baseline happiness has changed. And your level of happiness shouldn't be dependent on a substance. Some habits can make you feel ready for the day, but you shouldn't feel unsatisfied or empty until the habit is satisfied. This is evident with addicts, who must begin their days with a cigarette, some marijuana, or in this case, masturbation. Your sexual relationship will evolve. If you're in a relationship and prefer to masturbate over having sex, it could be because the sex isn't great or you're desensitized to masturbation, which could make you feel too lazy for sex. If your mind is accustomed to instant gratification from porn and masturbation, this could have a lot of negative effects on future relationships. For many people, sexual fulfillment is a prerequisite for relationship satisfaction. Being unable to engage in intimacy with your partner can lead to increased stress for both of you. And if anxiety and stress are triggers for your masturbation habit, it can become a seemingly endless cycle. This scenario only really applies to people who masturbate excessively depending on the nature of your relationship. For example, while it is common for people to have different libidos in relationships, schedule conflicts can sometimes force couples to miss weeks of sex. But if you are missing sex because of masturbation, you're probably doing it too much. As we've previously discussed, there is a connection between your mental state and your intention to masturbate because it feels good. So when men in particular are experiencing negative emotions, they may do so to release endorphins and dopamine. However, we know that this is just a temporary solution. You will want to masturbate more if you depend on it for this release. In fact, it can make you feel worse. Many people feel bad about masturbating, whether it's because of their religion, their upbringing, or their own feelings. If you are a chronic masturbator and you feel bad about it all the time, it could lead to a dark path of severe depression and low self-esteem. As we've learned, masturbation is what some people do to relieve their depression. So as with any compulsive habit, the enjoyment of masturbating decreases over time. Start by trying to limit your time masturbating as much as possible. Try to look out for the signs that trigger your habit. This might involve deleting apps or being more selective with the kinds of movies and shows you watch. As a chronic masturbator, you might be surprised by how many other habits are influenced by your masturbation habit. It can be difficult to admit that you might have a problem, especially with something as personal as your masturbation habit. Remember, If you're young and experiencing hormones at a level you never have before, it'll probably slow down eventually. Just try not to become dependent on masturbating, but if you're older and have successfully navigated through puberty, maybe consider some methods to help you slow down, like finding distractions and spending more time socializing. Your habit becoming chronic could be tied to another problem like depression or anxiety. Again, speaking to a professional therapist about this could change your life. Could you relate to this struggle? Okay, that's all for now. If you have any experience or advice that has helped you, whether it was to overcome guilt or to slow down a chronic habit, you can help a lot of people by sharing it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon. Psychic goers, please let us know if this video was helpful by liking it and subscribing to the Human Reads to Go for more videos.